might be coming out, and of course see what we can expect from them. Now, looking at the program, we are looking at some memorandum of understanding being said. Just a while ago, actually heard from the Master of Ceremonies, Ambassador Ipumbu, who's mentioning that the two heads of state has already finished a tete-a-tete here at the State House. Now, we're also looking at seeing the two heads of state. So it's going to be a bit of a brief program that we are looking forward to today. We are looking at the remarks being made by Ambassador Sam Ashipala Mushavi, the Minister of International Relations and Trade. That will be the Namibia chair of ministerial meeting, and then later on afterwards, we're also seeing Dr. Fenyo Butale of that is the International Relations of Botswana, to also then co-chair. Right now, what we are witnessing is the arrival of the two heads of state. We'll now dive straight into the program.
It was a good practice, as we know. But those are your colleagues who have just arrived. It gives us a very good signal that you are ready, as they will follow very soon. Thank you. Honourable Ministers, you may be seated.
Nobody's there to push them in.
Rise for the arrival of the head of state and the government, Namibia and Botswana respectively. And please remain standing for the anthems. NDF. Thank you. You may be seated. I thank NDF for that outstanding performance. Please, you may exit the hall now. Thank you, NDF. At this juncture, may I invite the cultural groups to perform one or two items before we start the proceedings. outstanding performance. Once again, let us give them another resounding applause. Thank you, cultural group. You may exit the hall. Thank you. Your Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, President of the Republic of Namibia and Chair of the second session of the Namibia-Botswana Bi-National Commission. Your Excellency, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, President of the Republic of Botswana and co-chair of the second session of the Namibia-Botswana Bi-National Commission. Your Excellency, Madame Lucia Vedboy, Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, Honorable Nandi-Ndaitwah, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy, Honorable Ambassador Serima Ashpara Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade of the Republic of Namibia and Chair of the Ministerial Committee of the BNC. Honorable Dr. Peo Butale, Minister of International Relations of the Republic of Botswana and co-chair of the Ministerial Committee of BNC. Esteemed members of the Botswana delegation, honorable ministers, deputy ministers, and members of parliament present, Mrs. Elizabeth Kakukuru, High Commissioner of the Republic of Namibia to the Republic of Botswana, Your Excellency, Advocate Pamelo B. Lankolo, the High Commission of the Republic of Botswana to the Republic of Namibia, distinguished service chiefs, senior government officials from both the Republic of Botswana and the Republic of Namibia, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. My name is Leonard Nangoro Ipumbu, the Chief of State Protocol, and today I will be the Director of Ceremony for this very important program. I know the program has been well distributed. I will not go through the items in the program. I kindly request that we all consult our program as we move the program forward. Having said that, it is now my singular honor to welcome and I invite you distinguished guests to join me. First, to welcome Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, senior government officials, and the distinguished delegates from both Namibia and Botswana at the State House, and in particular to this second session of the Namibia-Botswana Bi-National. Your Excellency, the inaugural Namibia-Botswana Bi-National Commission convened in September 2022 in Gaborone, Botswana, and the second session of the Bi-National Commission here today is a testimony to the cardinal importance that both our two countries attach to the existing excellent relations. Ladies and gentlemen, the presence of our heads of state and government here today indeed reaffirm the good and friendly neighborliness, as well as the cooperative ties between our sister countries. It also underscores the importance of our growing political, economic, and social ties for the prosperity of our two countries and peoples. Your Excellency, honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, without further ado, I now have the singular honor and kindly join me as I invite Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, President of the Republic of Namibia and Chair of the second session of the Namibia-Botswana Bi-National, to deliver our welcoming remarks. Your Excellency.
Please be seated. Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, President of the Republic of Botswana and co-chair of the Namibia-Botswana Bi-National Commission. Your Excellency Lucia Wetboy, Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister Nandi-Ndaitwah, Honorable Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly Katamelo, Honorable Ministers from Namibia and Botswana, and particularly our co-chairs of the ministerial segment, honorable members of parliament, senior officials and experts from both Namibia and Botswana, the high commissioners representing our respective countries in our respective capitals, distinguished delegates, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pride, heartfelt joy, and a strong sense of duty that I warmly welcome you, my esteemed brother, President Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, along with your distinguished delegation to Windhoek, the capital city of the land of the brave. Today marks a significant moment as we gather for the second session of the Namibia-Botswana Bi-National Commission, a clear testimony to the deep, lasting ties that unite our nation and people. Your presence here is a powerful statement of the lasting friendship, solidarity, and shared goals that connect the people of Namibia and Botswana. Our relationship is rooted in a shared history, mutual respect, and a common vision aimed at peace, stability, and prosperity, not only for our nations, but for the entire Southern Africa region, the African continent, and the world at large. Mr. President, since the establishment of the Bi-National Commission in September 2022, our two countries have made significant progress in formalizing and strengthening our cooperation across various important sectors. The first session held in Gaborone served as a crucial starting point, establishing a solid foundation for ongoing partnership. Today, as we gather here, we have the opportunity to build on the momentum with renewed energy, commitment, and a clear focus on tangible results. Over the past week, our senior officials, experts, and ministers have worked tirelessly, demonstrating exceptional foresight and commitment as they carefully reviewed the progress of our current commitment, while also exploring new opportunities for greater collaboration. The comprehensive agenda before us includes key areas such as political and diplomatic relations, the development and improvement of legal framework, economic growth strategies, defense and security cooperation, and social and cultural integration. This wide-range scope of our bilateral partnership not only highlights the significant potential we hold, but also emphasizes our dedication to achieve exceptional results that will directly benefit our citizens. I'm particularly encouraged by mutual commitment to thoroughly reviewing all existing agreements. This important effort will help keep our bilateral framework flexible, responsive, and aligned with the evolving goals and needs of our nation and their citizens. The agreement and memorandum of understanding we plan to sign during this session will serve as a clear example of our strong dedication to turn our shared ambitions into tangible results that address the needs and hopes of our people. Namibia stands ready to collaborate more closely with your administration, Mr. President, to advance the historical partnership our founding fathers envisioned in the spirit of Pan-African solidarity. Yesterday, we had a joyful occasion, the renaming of Fidel Street to Setseretsekama Street. This was not merely an act of history. We are committed to honor the founders of our frontline states, SADC and the AU, to continue in their footsteps in forging ahead with regional integration and Africa economic integration for the upliftment of our people in peace and harmony. This second session, thank you, of our binational commission occurs during a session of renewed hope, economic reform, and regional integration. In Namibia, the 8th administration has identified 7 key priority areas for our development, which are agriculture, sports, youth empowerment, quality education and training, creative industry, quality health services, and land and housing and sanitation. These key priority areas will be driven by 8 economic enablers, mainly mining, agriculture, energy, water, tourism, oil and gas, fishery, and infrastructure development, transport, and logistics. These sectors are aimed to turn bond charge Namibia's socio-economic development for increased prosperities and for Namibia to become a logistic hub. I'm aware, Mr. President, that Botswana Economic Transformation Program is aimed at shifting the country's focus from mineral-dependent economy to a diversified service-led model with high-value jobs and investment, driven by key pillars, which include establishment, Botswana's regional financial hub, fostering digitalization, developing agriculture, and enhance infrastructure. I mention this as a context for our shared ambition and to demonstrate that the thought process in Windhoek and Gaborone are not far from each other. Mr. President, today's discussion should inter alia be driven by a fundamental question: how can Namibia and Botswana convert our robust political relation to tangible, impactful economic growth and sustainable development for the social economic well-being of our people? I believe that its response is that we must create jobs, empower our youth and women with skills, and accord them opportunity to be the driver of our economic transformation. Since the inaugural Binational Commission held in 2022, Namibia and Botswana have achieved significant milestones in implementing the decisions adopted then. In this regard, I'm particularly pleased to note the one-stop border post implementation at the Trans-Kalahari Mauno, located on the trade corridor, which connects Gaborone with the Walvis Bay port, facilitating a streamlined custom process. In addition, the introduction of the 24-hour border operations and acceptance of national identity card for cross-border travel have substantially reduced transport costs and transit times, thereby embracing regional trade. I'm also encouraged by the progress made on the Trans-Kalahari Railway ongoing feasibility study. This project can potentially connect Botswana's minor region with Namibia's major port, thereby transforming trade and economic integration across Southern Africa. Our continued cooperation in security, mining, education, and cultural exchange exemplifies the multifaceted partnership we seek to strengthen. In this context, Namibia also attaches great importance to our bilateral trade, including trade in cement and charcoal. The Commission should look into the impediments surrounding trade between ourselves for mutual benefit. Mr. President, the Botswana Vaccination Institute is one of our regional true success stories. For many years, Botswana, through the BVI, has stood shoulder to shoulder with Namibia, working to protect animal health and sustain the livelihood that depend on it. As you know, our two countries are beef-producing countries. During the 2023-2024 financial year, BV supplied Namibia with more than 3.8 million doses of vaccine for foot and mouth disease. These vaccines have been vital in keeping Namibia's livestock safe and productive. This is a contribution that speaks to the trust and partnership between our two countries. Last year, Botswana and Namibia took that cooperation even further by signing a 3-year agreement for the continued supplying of livestock vaccine through the BVI. I'm pleased to note that the first delivery was made in February 2025. This partnership is a reflection of our shared vision for a region that is self-reliant, health and secure, protecting our livestock, securing our farmers' livelihood, and strengthening the foundation of food security and trade for generations to come. This achievement exemplifies our shared commitment to regional integration, economic development, and people-to-people exchange as envisioned in the Southern Africa Development Community Strategies for Industrialization and Economic Diversification Agenda. Those achievements also contribute meaningfully to the goals of the African Continental Free Trade Area, as they demonstrate our ability to eliminate barriers, harmonize standards, and enable the free movement of goods, services, and peoples. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, our collaboration extends beyond bilateral issues to regional, continental, and global matters. We are living in the age where multilateral cooperation is being redefined and challenged. It is important, therefore, to defend and uphold the principle of multilateral cooperation, international law, including humanitarian law and human rights. Namibia and Botswana have always stood firm on those, and this is the time to remain steadfast. Namibia and Botswana share a common position on peace, democracy, and multilateral diplomacy. As global conversation intensify on much-needed reform of the United Nations, the global financial architecture, and the global trade rules, we must continue to advocate for those reforms to be more inclusive, equitable, and reflective of the voices of developing countries, or to say, the global South. Mr. President, in the SADC region, we continue to hope for peace in the eastern part of DRC. In Sudan, we long for silence of guns, and in Western Sahara, we call for the holding of the UN referendum. Namibia's history is one of untold suffering, marked by genocide and apartheid colonialism. It is our painful history that compels us to speak out, not out of bitterness, but conviction of the power of international solidarity for human dignity. As we meet today, the people of Palestine, including in Gaza, remain in a prolonged suffering without basic supplies. The UN has declared a genocide in Gaza. We are cautiously optimistic about the latest development. Now is the moment to move the call for a two-state solution in accordance with the various UN resolutions put forward in order to bring about sustainable peace to the people of Palestine. We call for an end to illegal sanctions on our sister neighboring country, Zimbabwe. In addition, we continue to call for an end to the continued illegal economic, financial, and commercial embargo imposed on the friendly people of Cuba and removing her from the list of states sponsoring terrorism. In the course of this week, and I'm happy I'm saying this in the presence of our Deputy Speaker, our Parliament has passed a motion to support the people of Cuba and call for the lifting of economic embargo on that particular country. Namibia is also concerned about the emerging threats against Venezuela and call for the removal of sanctions and threats against that country. Mr. President, this year, 2025, marks the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration. I'm always proud to talk about Beijing, as I have served at this conference as the Rapporteur General. And it also is also a Jubilee anniversary of the UN Security Council Resolution 3025, a resolution that was moved by Namibia to be discussed in the Security Council. At the core of this resolution is the commitment to enhance inclusivity in peacemaking and peace building, to make the voice of women heard in pursuit for peace and development. Advancing the women, peace, and security agenda, Namibia, in collaboration with the AU Commission, is hosting a two-day conference this month from the 16th to the 17th here in Windhoek. It is my hope that Botswana will be represented. The SADC Secretariat is also expected to attend. Mr. President, on a lighter note, but very, very important, on behalf of the government and the people of Namibia, I extend hearty congratulations to the Republic of Botswana on your historic gold medal victory in the men's 4x400-meter relay at the 2025 World Athletics Championship in Tokyo. This remarkable achievement has brought pride to your nation and to us as Africans. It is an inspiring testimony for excellence for African sports people on the world stage. As I conclude, Mr. Speaker, now I'm back in Parliament. I'm missing it. As I'm concluding, Your Excellencies, Mr. President, it's my hope that this session the second session of our Binational Commission must lay a strong foundation for future collaboration, building upon the achievements of our predecessors and opening new avenues for tangible results to benefit our citizens now and in the future. Once again, it's my distinguished honor, Mr. President, to welcome you and your delegation to Namibia and to officially declare the presidential segment of the second session of the Binational Commission open, which we have to chair together as co-chair. Thank you for your kind attention.
Another resounding round of applause. Thank you very much. You may be seated. It is now my honor and privilege, and once again, kindly request that we all rise as I invite His Excellency Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, President of the Republic of Botswana and the co-chair of the Namibia-Botswana Binational Commission, to deliver his remarks. Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Please be seated, and I apologize for making you stand. Let me start by gratefully acknowledging our host, the President of the Republic of Namibia, President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, who spoke to us this morning, not only to welcome and embrace all of us. She spoke to us, ministered to our hearts and our souls like the true mother of Namibia and Africa that she is. We appreciate the journey that you've traveled in the quest to liberate your country. You have lived the story of this country. You've been in the front lines of its struggle. You've interpreted its experiences and its history. And through that lens of pain, trauma, and anguish, you seek to script a totally new, fresh, and spectacularly different narrative for the Republic of Namibia. We acknowledge you, woman. Recognize the Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, Madame Lucia Witbooi. We appreciate you, ma'am. We appreciate the pillar of support that you are to the President. We thank you for the work that you do. Both you and the President lead the executive arm of the Namibian government that wields both the purse and the sword in the effort to transform not just Namibia, the region, the continent, and ultimately the world. And so I thank your charges, the ministers of the Republic of Namibia who are here with us, and thank them for the work that they are doing for their country. Thank you so very much. I lead here a team as well, representing the Republic of Botswana. I'm its arrowhead, its trumpet voice, but I have a team around me. Several ministers are here. You've seen them, you've met them, you've engaged with them. They are also supported by public servants who are here with them and who understand the enormity of the task and the challenges with which we are confronted. I thank them too. We have diplomatic representatives. The High Commissioner of Namibia to Botswana, who is an adopted child of the Republic of Botswana, is here with us today. We appreciate her. We also acknowledge and recognize her counterpart, Botswana's High Commissioner to Namibia, who is here with us today. We have members of the Defense Force from Botswana, the police, and the intelligence community who have come to engage with their counterparts in Namibia. We appreciate them. So thank you very much for being here today for this meeting, for the work that you have done in the lead up to this moment. The President of the Republic of Namibia has spoken so beautifully, so gracefully and eloquently, like a mother. I will not even remotely attempt to repeat what she has said, except to wholly associate myself with every statement she has made and every sentiment she has expressed. And having done so, I could actually just sit down at this point because all that I could say has been said. But I would like to reflect with you briefly, if only to give some inspiration, if nothing else. We are here today as Namibia and Botswana. We've been here before, many times in fact. And I'd like to call upon all of us to take a stand in relation to two critical questions that philosophers have dealt with, wrestled with over time and climbed over the years. The first, they say, is the problem of context and contextuality. What is our relationship with the present circumstances in which we find ourselves? The habitual settings of our actions. How do we relate with them? We may relate with them from a position of obeisance, of worship, of idolatry, where we fetishize and worship the institutions, the practices, and the habits that we've inherited. And we operate in a business as usual manner. Or we can engage with these circumstances and seek to transform them. And when we seek to transform them, we must then engage in context-smashing approaches and possibilities. Do we embrace, maintain, or do we smash the context, transform, reform, shape it anew? That's the first question, the question of context and contextuality. There's a second question. Philosophers call it the solidaristic question of solidarity. How do we relate with each other? And when we consider this, we must appreciate a reality. We can't escape it. We can't run away from it. We need each other. We need each other desperately. We must acknowledge this. Botswana needs Namibia desperately. Namibia needs Botswana desperately. Fact. It's axiomatic. It goes without saying. But there's another corollary reality, and it is this. Despite the fact that we need each other so desperately, we also pose immense dangers to each other. And so in terms of this contradiction, we are pretty much like the proverbial unhappy couple. We can't live together, yet we can't live apart. We must make it work, whether we like it or we don't. And so what do we do? Takes me to my next point, really. And I'm going to be brief with my hurried thoughts. I've said to you, all that needed to be spoken today has already been stated eloquently. I will not ream the magic out of it. There are two broad types of people. Bruce Lee tells us in a book, or two books actually, that I stumbled upon. One is called The Tao of Bruce Lee. The other, Letters of the Dragon, pages 115 to 117. Bruce Lee writes a poem there. I don't think you know him to be a poet. But he was more than a poet, he was actually a philosopher, in addition to the other things that he did, for which he is renowned. He asks a profound question. Says, having distinguished two broad types, he says there are doers and doubters. In this poem, he says there are doers and doubters. And he says, which are you? And I pose that question to you, to all of us. Which are we? Are we doers or are we doubters? And he says, the doubters said, men can't fly. The doers said, maybe, but we will try. And finally soared into the morning glow, while the doubters watched from down below. Which are we? Are we doers or are we doubters? When I spoke with the president privately, we agreed, both of us, that our ascendance to the leadership of our two countries has ignited so much hope amongst our people. They look forward, they yearn for change. They have full faith and confidence in our ability to deliver the change. But that is also very dangerous because they are impatient. The people are hungry out there. The people are unclad. They are unhoused. They are unfed. They want to eat. They want to work. They want to eke out a meaningful living within the borders of their countries. The expectations that lie on our shoulders are enormous. And if we sit twiddling our thumbs, consuming ourselves in doubt and misapprehension, we will disappoint those multitudes that have invested so much hope in all of us. We need to respond to their cries, to their pleas, to their conjurations, and we need to respond immediately, decisively, boldly. That's what we are called upon to do, otherwise we will not be fit. So we are challenged every day, every step of advance, to prove our worth and mettle. Are we worthy of the responsibility that has been bestowed on each and every one of us? And so we are called upon now, in a practical manner, to make choices. How do we deploy the limited resources at our disposal? And these resources include yourselves, the personnel, the natural resources, the financial opportunities. How do we mobilize, marshal these in the service of the people that have given us the responsibility to lead them? That's the first. The second is, and this is a requirement of strategy. They'll teach you this when they teach you strategy. Choice. What choices do you make? Choose to be a doubter. Choose to be a doer. A lot turns on the choices that we make or we fail to make. Errors both of commission and of omission. We need to be alive to these realities if we are to be of any impact at all. The second is empathy. In strategy, you need to have empathy. You need to consider the feelings and the interests of the others. In this case, Botswana must consider the feelings, the sentiments, and the interests of Namibia, and Namibia must do the same. It speaks to what I will call plausible complementarity between these two nations. Plausible complementarity. Botswana must complement Namibia, Namibia must complement Botswana. Not just in talk, in word, but in action, in deed. So all the sermons that you preach must now be translated into reality. They must be enacted in the lives of real people, those on the downside of your societies, those in the dumps catching hell. Your choices, your actions must translate into something meaningful for them to transform their lives. Empathy. The third is alliance, solidarity. These opportunities for cooperation, collaboration. Some of them new, some of them untried and untested. And when any person is confronted with untried and untested opportunities for collaboration, they recoil and they default into what they know and what they have done. But what we know and what we've done, the bulk of it hasn't worked or worked as well as we thought it would. So we are forced to reflect even on those routinized and collectivized, stylized forms of action and thought patterns, to review them, cast aside some of them, and bring into existence radically new approaches and strategies that will work for both countries, for other countries in the region, for the continent, and for the world. So we need to strengthen our alliance. Botswana, Namibia. What does this entail? We must avoid unnecessary competition. Botswana must not seek to outcompete Namibia. Namibia must not seek to outcompete Botswana. There must be objective, plausible complementarity between these two neighbor states. What are we competing on? Namibia is a beef-producing country. Botswana is a beef-producing country. There's no need for any competition between these two countries. Namibia has a population of about 3 million, Botswana 2.5. What are we competing on? There is need for collaboration, for coming together, for coalescing around common goals, visions, and outcomes. And so when Botswana fails to meet its quota to the EU because its national head has drastically diminished, Namibia must step in and fill the gap. That's plausible complementarity. When Namibia cries out to Botswana and says, your policies in relation to cement have adversely affected my people, Botswana must pause, reflect its empathy, and say, how do I accommodate the interests of Namibia in order for Namibia to also accommodate my own interest? That's the plausible complementarity I'm talking about. The fourth element, cause and effect. These actions that we undertake, what determinate outcomes do they bring? Not what we, in our suppositions and presuppositions, think. What does reality bear out? Human causality. That's what we need to look at this level as leaders of an emerging continent that is the future of the world. Otherwise, we are too weak to be at the helm, at the front. We've got to justify our being as that emerging continent, the leaders of the now frontier. So we must know the best that is known and think the best that is thought in the world. We must become thought leaders on the African continent. We're not begging to be recognized. We claim our place, we say. You are forced to look at us. You are forced to listen to us. We're not begging. We're not negotiating. We are staking our claim to the leadership of the world as Africans. And the last issue for me is time. We're not going to be talking for an inordinate amount of time. All these decisions, these discussions must be operationalized. They must be time-bound. We must put down timelines, strict timelines, and stick to those timelines. Because we have a revolution to effect on the African continent, in our countries. And a revolution is not endless. It's not amorphous. It's not shapeless. And a revolution is sometimes convulsive. Causes ruptures, it causes uncertainty, it causes discomfort. It's a revolution, that's what it is. And it is not indeterminate. It has to achieve outcomes within a period of time. And so, many of these programs that we are looking at here, these memoranda that we will sign, how much time do we have before we see tangible results sounding in jobs, in improved livelihoods, in improved infrastructure, in enhanced opportunities for growth and collaboration? How much time are we ascribing to them? These are the elements, in my humble view, that will enable us to provide formidable answers to the problem of context and contextuality, question the challenge of solidarity, and that will determine whether we are doubters or doers. I am a doer. I am a doer unapologetically. And I must be honest, sometimes you people frustrate me. I must tell you the truth. Sometimes I get frustrated by you, public officers, with your rigidities, your routinized sluggishness, your reticence, your inability to respond instantly, decisively, boldly, objectively to pressing and trenchant problems. Because you recoil and you fall back on what has happened before, regardless of the fact that it has not worked. So sometimes I get frustrated by yourselves. You are too formal. That's why you refer to yourselves as excellencies and all these other titles. I'm just a boy. And I'm a boy to everybody. No formalities, because I want us to focus on the real issues. Appreciating that we are all subject to human frailties, foibles, and fallibilities. We know that. We're human. We're not deities. And so when we engage, we must engage alive to all these simple realities. Botswana and Namibia. The airline in Namibia has collapsed. The Namibian airline. Air Botswana is on the verge of collapse. Botswana has 2.5 million people. Namibia about 3 million. What can these two countries do in the area of airline transportation? What can they do? The both of them. Not in competition. Objective, plausible complementarity. What can they do? It's a question I throw to you. Because I have full faith and confidence that you will provide the answer. When are we starting work on the Trans-Kalahari rail line and the pipelines, the oil pipelines that we must build, opening up frontiers of trade amongst ourselves and into the rest of the continent, under the aegis of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement? When are we translating these sermons into lived reality for our people? Let me stop right here. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your attention.
Wow, another round of applause, please. I truly thank our leaders, our two heads of state and government, for their foresight statements, so well and eloquently delivered. Very inspiring, very educative, very informative, and of course, very instructive. They really give us marching orders. What else? I believe the implementation of the BNC undertakings become very imperative. What a good feelings in this house, really good feeling. And thanks God, we believe we belong to this beautiful sisterly country, Namibia and Botswana. On that note, once again, let's give ourselves another resounding round of applause. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, we are moving toward the close of the opening ceremony. And on this note, I would like to respectfully request those colleagues who are not delegates to the to the bi-national, including the media, to respectfully leave the hall. We thank you, especially the media, for you to be here. You know you are the ears and eyes, you are the mirror of these proceedings to inform our nationals and beyond who are not part of this ceremony. And now you will be invited to the closing session that will take place very soon. So please don't go very far. And take your gadget. I have one here. Thank you.